What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast, the Brown Fox Podcast, episode 9. And thanks, guys, for tuning in. My name's Matt, and I'm joined next to me on my left by the one, the only, the boss man himself, Joseph Bobadella. How are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you? And I think before you tell me how you are, I think you've done this before by the sound of that that intro.
Look, I was just trying to, I don't know if you guys saw, I was like manually fading that because we're trying to limit the audio editing as much as we can. So we're trying to do it all live. But look, I've had a bit of podcast experience before, and it's good fun.
Clearly you have. And thanks for reviving this.
Yes.
'Cause
No.
it's been a while.
How long have we been talking about it?
As in talking about doing the podcast?
Yeah, or reviving the podcast.
Oh, we've talked about it since close to when we first met,
Yeah.
which has been over a year ago now.
It's been a hot minute.
But the podcast hasn't been active for
Couple of years? No.
end of 2020 was
Yeah.
the last episode that I actually
True.
released.
Yeah.
That was episode 8 from
Wow.
memory.
Wow. Crazy. So, welcome to episode 9, guys. We
Welcome.
are, very excited to be here. Hope you guys are excited too. We're hoping that you guys get lots out of it, some valuable content, whether it be some laughs or whether it be some education or anything else in between.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways,
Yep.
I've got a bit of a run sheet here, so I'm a bit nervous, guys. I haven't done a proper podcast for a while, so. But
The
Joe's
sound-
a natural here.
That's where the soundboard, I should put the sound and this little soundboard. we've
You
got
can
going.
do it. Have you got it there?
Which one is it?
We're just still getting used to the roadcaster, guys.
All right.
I'm going.
This is great. This is good.
This is great. So, look, guys, I thought we'd. Joe's gonna have a bit of fun. I'm supposed to be the host here, and you can do whatever you want.
My
It's all
bad.
good. It's all good. So basically, I thought at the start of the podcast it would be good to just briefly outline, I guess the podcast, and I'll let you drive this, but briefly, drive it. Briefly outline the podcast and what people can expect from this episode, I guess, but also future episodes. Because I guess, guys, we would love to do this as part of this podcast revival. We would love to, I guess, keep it going on a regular basis, whether it's once a week, once a fortnight, or
Once a year.
I didn't want to go that far. I wanted to go at a minimum once a month, minimum.
Yes.
Um,
Welcome to the annual Brown Fox podcast.
Catch us again in February 2023.
No, you're right. I think, like you said, firstly, there's a lot of friction points in starting a podcast. Last year was
Yeah.
a very busy year and a lot of growth. And we were even just establishing a lot of what our own, and we'll talk about this later in the podcast, our own voices and our own, procedure of working as Brown Fox together. Because again, that's later on, we'll discuss that, I'm sure. But when I first started the podcast 2 years ago,
Yep.
I had a thought of bringing on some people who had started off in business and were running their own businesses and interviewing them about their story.
Yeah.
Which is still great. I still think that's
Yeah.
valuable to hear from. But I think since we are looking at reviving this, like you said, this year, I would love to be able to share some real, I guess, I don't want to use the word value, but some real value
yeah.
until I
I
come up with a
understand.
better word
Yeah.
for how video can be used within the business world today
Yeah.
and ways that it can be used practically
Mm.
and actionable steps now, things like that, where people can take away actual thoughts from people who are always doing it. So that's what we both do on a very regular basis. That's what we're doing on every single day, and to be able to share some of the insights and it'll evolve. Like this is number 1 episode of 2022, and we'll
It's all up from here. Don't worry.
even between ourselves, we'll figure out
Yeah.
our groove and what we feel is
Exactly.
going to be good.
Exactly.
Good content.
Let's just get over there and
what is going to be
good content. Yep.
great. That was
That's-
pre-recorded.
Yep. We've got a whole bit of a soundboard here from no one in particular.
Great.
Cool. So hope you guys, as we said,
And
grab some awesome value.
yeah,
from
but
it.
but also that this podcast would be a way that people would get to know the Brown Fox team
Exactly.
and know that we're real people.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
that
We're not robots behind.
Yeah, we have a bit of fun, but we love what we do.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, look, guys, you may not have seen me before.
Yeah, who are you again?
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. No, my name's Matt. I'm one of the videographers, team members. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Look, that's the first time I've ever received that before, but thank you. Should have faded it rather than done a hard cut, but that's okay.
It sounds a bit comedic. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're all right. You're all good. I'm loving this live recording. It's great. So, yeah, I'm one of the team members, videographers here at Brown Fox Media House. So I met up with Joe towards the end of 2020 in October. Met up for coffee near his place, and the rest is history. So no, but I started on. I guess we caught up. We got on really well. We kind of just gelled straight away, I guess. And I started on a project to project working basis. I guess helping out with shoots here and there. Then it evolved to part time, and then now pretty much full time. So look, I've absolutely loved my Brown Fox journey to date, and it's only going to get better and better, especially with this podcast. Thank you very much, guys. That's better. That's a nice fade.
Right.
He's getting in. He's getting
Yeah,
used to
I'm
it,
learning this podcasting thing.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I want to say, I've told Joe this many times, but once again, Joe, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to A, catch up with me, and B, give me work,
and C, start a podcast.
and D, probably most importantly, I guess, is just being able to call you a friend, like a really close friend, like a brother, you know? I don't know. You're not just a boss. You're not just the best boss, but just being able to call you a friend and being able to talk with you and having chats about work and non-related work stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful moment.
Yeah, 100%.
On the podcast.
Yeah, it's getting a bit emotional. Anyways. No, it's good. Was that a mistake?
That's been good,
all
man.
right. No, it's been
Good intro. Good intro.
been a bit of fun. So, look, your previous host of the podcast,
Yes.
Nathan, I'm not sure if he's watching this, but if he is, he did start a segment in the previous podcast called Dad Joke of the Week. So we're just going to put this
Oh
on
my
now.
gosh.
Is this bringing back memories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot better setup than we had, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, guys, I thought, I'm going to continue this segment on I found a good one. Today's dad joke of the week. Why did the man fall down the well?
Why?
Because he couldn't see that well.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Well done.
There it is.
Of course. Do I get it?
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, no. Can you explain that to me?
just making sure, sure, you know.
That is just absolutely
Good content. 100%. Couldn't
Yep.
agree more. Could not agree more.
I'm glad you brought that back. That's a good throwback.
100%.
And a bit of respect to
Yes.
the original team. So
100%. Hope
Miss
you guys are
Nathan.
going well.
you're
Yeah,
doing good things.
for sure. What's he up to at the moment?
He's working with a friend of mine in Rocky,
Cool.
full-time videography as well,
Awesome.
up there. So
That's so good.
yeah,
Yeah.
humble beginnings from the Brown Fox living room.
Yeah. That was a
Hey,
great setup.
you'd know back from previous
Yeah.
experiences. We won't get into that because it's going to sound weird on a podcast.
Context
I
is
feel like
key,
that's
yeah.
already weird just saying that it's weird, so we'll just continue.
Just
to
gonna
move
leave.
on.
Yep.
All right, we'll leave that there.
100%.
It's another story for another
That's yes, definitely.
time. Probably never. All right,
Comment,
let's just keep
comment down
moving.
below. What's been happening this past week, man?
Mate, this last week has been a blur.
Yeah.
A blur. There's been a few shoots.
Mm.
I think since COVID kind of took over most of January, things have been a little slower to wake up. We were obviously a lot busier in January, but I had a lot of really good conversations, and there'll be some very interesting projects for us as Brown Fox in March and beyond. So
Awesome.
very excited for that. And it's given us some time to really strategize how we're going to work throughout the rest of the month, quarter, and year as well. So
Great.
it's been good.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome. Cool. Sweet. What's one thing you've learnt this past week?
That dad joke was pretty funny.
You haven't heard that one before? I haven't heard that one before.
No, but okay. Do you want a serious one?
Yeah. Let's go a serious and non-serious one. Nah.
I mean, I haven't learnt anything new, just more reinforcing
Yep.
consistency being a really big thing in life, and also in business, in life. Yeah, through multiple facets of my world.
Yeah.
I've just had conversations with people about how important consistency is, and I've also kind of defined for myself that longevity is a core value of mine. And as a result of that, one of the behavioral, quantifiable, measurable behaviors of longevity is being consistent. Because if you believe that you're going to be in something for the long game, you'll do it. So that's my one thing for the week. That was very comedic, wasn't it?
It's good.
Oh, thank you. Man, this default soundboard is actually not too bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
It's coming in handy.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I
Great.
like it. So good.
What about you?
Oh, what have I learned this week? I don't know. I really should have thought about this beforehand.
That's right.
I really should have thought about it.
That's okay.
No, I mean, sorry, I honestly can't think of anything at the moment.
Oh, that's good to know.
apart from setting up a podcast takes longer than you think, hey?
Yes. Yeah, you've been at it for about an hour and a half.
Keep it down, man. Keep it down.
Hey, Joe, what do you think of this? That's all right. You got this, man.
Hey, Joe, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? You got it.
You got it.
It's fine.
It's all good.
To be fair, he was doing, not that this isn't work related, but he, emails and proposals and follow-ups and stuff like that. So it's
That's
fair
what
enough.
He thinks I was doing.
I'm
joking.
So what were you doing?
Yeah, it was doing that. No,
Let's keep it down. Yeah.
No, it does. So that's why we need to find a rhythm with the podcast.
For sure.
And
Look, as I said, I really do believe that once we find our groove, our mojo, get into a rhythm of things, it's all up from here. It's all up from here. And yeah.
Cool.
It's going to be good. Dude, I thought we'd discuss for this first podcast back in over a year.
Yep.
Thought we'd discuss briefly, or however long we want, how we got to where we are now for both of us, for the business, individually. Did you want to start? Or
Sure.
Yeah.
So when you're saying how we got to where we are now, are you talking about specifically to how we got in these seats?
Yeah, so we drove here.
We drove here?
No. I think
I walked.
I think how we got to where we are now in terms of, I guess on a work-related note, yeah.
Man, that could be its own podcast.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I think the very first podcast
Yeah.
of the Brown Fox
True.
podcast was
Yeah.
about the beginning stages. So I'll cut back from.
Yeah.
Let's do this in 10 seconds. I finished school,
Yeah.
did engineering, stopped doing engineering, figured out what I wanted to do for 5 years, did some other jobs, moved to Brisbane, started a business without knowing how to start a business. We're still going.
That
was probably more than 10 seconds.
It's all good.
Like I said, it's its own journey. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I suppose from the point of the last podcast to now, there's been a lot along the way.
Yeah.
And I don't want to detract from, because I feel like we can just talk about that after we talk about how you got here.
Uh-huh.
And I think that journey will probably intersect. So what? Yeah, let me spin it back on you.
Nice.
How did you get to the point where you're doing videography?
I mean, no, I didn't start with engineering or anything like that. I think I've always had an interest in cameras, in sort of video editing, ever since a young age. When if my family and I went on a holiday sort of thing, I'd always bring along a camera, nothing fancy or anything, but always just taking mostly videos, some photos, but mostly videos. and always just compiling them into like highlight videos and stuff like that. Nothing crazy on Amazon. Sneaky Windows Live Movie Maker. So
Ooh.
can't complain. It was I thought it was the bee's knees back then, but yeah,
Probably still is.
probably is. Probably upgraded a bit. But no, I've always had a passion and interest in I guess videography and video editing. But it wasn't until I did a course in grade 12. It was a Cert 3 in screen and media, and that just boosted my passion for videography itself and filmmaking, sort of stuff. So from then I was like, yeah, I want to go to uni. I want to do, I'd love to do this, I guess, long term.
Yeah, wow.
And so then I went to university and did a 2-year course in, a 2-year degree in film production. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Learnt so much along the way. And yeah, got some awesome experience out in the field as well towards the end of the course, and then so finished the course, and then was kind of freelancing for a bit there, and
How'd you find the freelancing experience?
yeah, no, it was it was good. Like I guess at the time it was good. Like I was just happy to and I kind of started freelancing before finishing uni too. So I was kind of doing a few odd freelance jobs while I was at still uni too. So that was pretty cool. Like, paid jobs while I'm still at uni. That's all right. But it wasn't heaps. But then freelancing at the time, it was good. Like I was enjoying it. I had another job as well, so it wasn't like that was the primary thing, but it was good. But I guess I was always looking for that more consistent sort of work. So I guess freelancing was good, but I thought, probably the best way for me, the goal right now would be to kind of work for a company or different companies and kind of work those full-time hours consistently. Started working for a few different companies, and then towards the end of 2020, met up with you. I think I was already following Brown Fox Media House on a few of the Facebook and stuff like that, and then I think you put out like an advertisement. We are looking for filmmakers and video editors to come on board.
Yeah, we all one of us are looking for video editors and freelancers to come join the growing team of one. Yeah, I remember that.
And aren't you glad now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but no. So I reached out to you, and like I wasn't really I didn't really think you'd. I don't know. I just didn't really. Not that I had like low hopes or anything, but I think you got back to me within like the next couple of days, and I was like, oh, sweet, because I'd been following Brown Fox for a little, maybe a couple of months prior, and seeing you and your videos and your talking head videos to camera on the YouTube and stuff like that. So
wait, talking heads, my talking heads, or other people?
Well, both, but
see, video works, man. Even though,
and I will say, and I'm sure we will get into this. I don't want to jump ahead into the run sheet of the podcast.
I didn't know that. That's the first time you've actually said that you actually you watched the talking heads that I put.
I watched a couple of talking heads,
gosh.
and here's the thing, and this is something we have discussed. And this is why video is so powerful, right? I'd seen a couple of your talking head videos to camera, and so when I went in to catch up with you, you had no idea who I was, but I'd already seen your face, and I kind of know this guy, you know?
Yeah, and man, you impressed me because we were meeting in a little cafe near my house, and you turned up in pretty professional looking getup. I was expecting someone to come in a some t-shirt and some jeans. You dressed up in a button-up shirt. I think you were wearing leather shoes or something, or boots, and then some nice pants. Yeah. I was like, this guy coming in for a proper job interview? That was really quite impressive.
Look, I wanted to give off a good impression. I didn't want to come across like I was.
And that there is why, again, it's already been over a year now since we've started working together. It was why what I really respected, because you really suited our
screen's turned off.
Our screen.
Sorry.
Oh, that's a nice screensaver.
Should I leave it?
That's up to you.
Nah, let's go back to the edit page.
But yeah, you really exuded the professionalism, which I feel like is such an important value of Brown Fox. Myself first, and then what I really believe Brown Fox can be.
Mm.
And so I appreciated that. So it was good. And like to intersect our journeys again. So by the time we met, I know that I don't want to brush over, like, I feel like my own personal journey is its own podcast, but by that time, so COVID had just begun. I almost had to stop working in what I wasn't going to give up, but I almost had to go, is this going to work, about the start of 2020? Because I was still new to Brisbane, didn't really know that many people. Moving to a new city is daunting, but moving to a new city and having no one that you know at all, and then trying to start, now I know in retrospect, trying to start a brand new business where you're trying to work with people and they pay you money, where you don't have any prior relationship, that takes time.
Yeah.
And not somehow, it was just an incredible year of just the most incredible opportunities that started to come out during the beginning of COVID.
100%.
Because I don't think I ever talked about it on a podcast, but I was part of a networking group, and at the beginning of COVID, it's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. So what I did was I just came up with an idea. Why don't I create some public service announcement videos? That's what we call them, where I would help businesses to get a message out of what it was that they were doing during COVID. Where were they still operating? Were they changing the way they, were they going, closing their doors, whatever they were doing, which was not closing their doors, most of the business I work with.
Yeah.
But I gave it the best I knew how in terms of trying to turn that into a brand piece for that business. And I think I did about 15 of those in April. And from April to May, and from having no work to having those very, very cheap videos, I think it was like $150 per video.
It's a start.
But exactly. And then that, I guess, started the journey towards consistency in the work we did. By the time I met up with you in October, I had more projects that I could handle on my own. So that's why I reached out and I said, hey, I need a hand with some editing potentially. I didn't really know what I needed help with the most. And so at first we engaged you to start with shooting, and I found out that you're quite a talented filming person. Not sure I use technical words here. A filming person, cameraman. And eventually, from that point, that's, I guess, where our journey started to intersect. And then the start of 2021, I tried to reach out and say, hey, you want to try to do some editing? And he proved to be a very, good learner and very adaptable, considering you had to learn a completely new program. And you had to do a lot of things that were, you had to adapt. And I was very impressed with that. And obviously now your standard of editing has increased even more, to the point where, and filming, to the point where you're doing your own projects, and it still speaks like a Brown Fox video, which I'm really stoked about. And
Thank you.
We have a lot of fun. So so that's, I guess that's for the audience, whoever's listening. We are pretty passionate about what we do, and I think we vibe on the same wavelength, and we understand that Brown Fox provides a certain voice to people's businesses that, not that other people can't do at all. Like we have a unique approach, but I think we want to talk about that later on. And I think we've built it from the last podcast to now. We've started to really find the way that we operate, and that's really exciting. And that's why I feel like we can finally genuinely start a podcast, because when I first started it, I couldn't really say what the power of video was. I think given these years of operating and seeing it work for businesses and seeing how people react to video content, it's cemented a lot of it for me. And I think we can finally speak a lot of truth out of, our experiences.
For
so
sure.
That's what I'm excited about.
It's awesome.
With the podcast.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know what I call that?
Good content.
Absolutely. I'm really tempted to press some other ones, but I know they'll be burnt into this video, and we're not ready to release some of that soundboard to the general public. So
no, but in all seriousness, that's that's so good, man. It's awesome. Good.
So that's how we got to the podcast today.
So good, man. And as we said at the start, I'd love to keep drinking coffees, and there it goes. drinking coffees, but no, continue this podcast, continue to, I guess, give value back to people. Well, that's the hope, and
Yeah.
have a few laughs along the way and a few more soundboard moments.
Absolutely. Ease into them.
100%. So I guess the last sort of thing I had on my run sheet, but we can spend any amount of time on this, is I guess what I know I give you full permission to drive this, and I'll add wherever I can. Let's go.
Let's drive.
But what sets Brown Fox apart
Mm.
to say other video companies, marketing companies, I guess, what sets us apart? Yeah. I'll give you a minute. It's all good. So I kind of threw in deep in there, but oh yeah, crickets.
Yeah, you got the cricket sound.
Crickets, yeah.
Yeah. Look, again, and this is something that I say about all businesses, but any two businesses can be in the same industry.
Yep.
But they'll have different people, and people make the businesses.
Yep.
Businesses are, reality is they're made of people. And so even though there are other video production companies in Brisbane and other people who do videography, I feel like we have our own style, our own voice, our own even belief and ethos about how we operate and the way that we want to serve customers best and whatnot. And so I think from my point of view,
Yep.
and I'm not saying that by any means that we are the best at all. I think you know what I mean. I'm proud of Brown
I get
Fox.
you.
I'm proud of what we do. I'm
Yeah.
definitely proud of the work that we do, because we don't release work that we're not proud of to start with.
Exactly.
But also, first and foremost, at the risk of sounding cliche, we really do understand the people that we work with. We do get to know them. I take a particularly, call it a documentary approach when it comes to when we work with businesses. And that also comes out in the kinds of videos we end up making most of the time.
Yep.
In terms of how we perceive a company, how they come across to us, and then how we look at them, unpack and clarify their message, and then know how to represent them well.
Yep.
I feel like we take so much care and time into doing that. We don't just get a brief. Even if we get a brief, we want to know who we're working with, so that these videos aren't necessarily we'll turn them around as fast as practical, but the kind of projects we tend to take on a lot more are ones that we get the opportunity to get to know the people we're working with and make sure the videos represent them well. But then also, on a practical note, make sure that they are doing a purpose. They're fit for a purpose.
Yep.
And the videos we create have a home in a business's process, whether it's from marketing, sales, their products, their operations, or their people. There's several parts of a business, and I really feel like video is a tool that can be used in any one of them. And all I want to do is find out what the problems are that a business has experienced, and then suggest that you can solve some of those with video.
Exactly.
Because it's a new form of business tool, if you want to say. Whether people know it or not, they're already using it as a business tool.
Yep.
In the simplest things, if they record a procedure, if someone is trying to explain to someone else how to do a thing within the business, and they send that as a video to someone else, they've used video as a tool to strengthen their business. It doesn't just end with showing people who you are in a marketing sense. It's a tool that can be used to overcome a lot of problems. So a lot of the things that we spend time to do is to actually diagnose a business as a business.
Yeah.
And then find out if video will be a solution, and be honest about it. Say, here's a suggestion. You don't have to necessarily do it, but we really believe that if you implement this video at this touch point of your business, it'll help.
Yeah.
And ideally, there's some videos that we would make, but we'll also take the time to suggest where maybe you could do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the time to do it, then we can do it for
100%.
you.
100%.
So I'm trying to shy away from the word strategic because it's quite used a lot, but it really is a bit of a strategic process. It's not just turn up somewhere and shoot something and then edit it.
much more than that.
Yeah, and I think you've seen for the most part what that looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
How would you describe what maybe sets us apart? from
Yeah, I
others?
mean, I definitely like agree with absolutely everything. I resonate with everything you said, and I guess since being with Brown Fox, I guess I can definitely see that difference, or I guess that extra mile that we pride ourselves on, that we want to take. Video, what I've come to realize, and like I knew this before, but but I think something that we really pride ourselves on is that when we make a video, when we create a video for, even if it's for ourselves, but for a business, for an organization, we're not just making it just we like making videos. We want it to serve a purpose. We want to make sure that it serves a person. Serves a person.
Yeah, it does.
It could. But
Sure.
but a purpose. There has to be, I guess, a driving force behind it, sort of thing. And one thing I love about video is that you could be on the other side of the world. I know there's already a content piece out about this, but you could be on the other side of the world, and you could sit down, watch a video from a business, an organization, within 30 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes, find out pretty much everything about them, or at least the basics about them, who they are, what they're about, what their purpose is, all within a 1 to 2 minute video. And like, video has the power to do that. And I love that about video, how you can really find out everything about a business within a video, which you may not get through the power of, say, photography and blogs. Like that, those things are great. Those things are awesome, and those things serve a purpose. But I think video really serves a unique purpose, where you, rather than a video, rather than a photo, which is just a snapshot, or a still image, or a blog, which is writing. Those things are great. But I think with video, you can see something happen in real time, in real life, and I don't know.
As an origin story to why I've landed in videography as a creative, one of the things that I have recognized is video for me personally is the fusion of all creativity that I enjoy.
Yeah,
personally.
100%.
Music, graphic design, photography,
so many
video.
There's so many different assets to just footage.
And so even from what you said then, so you talk about photography, which is a beautiful art form, and it's got its purpose, like you said, very good. I know I use photos, and
100%. We're
it's
definitely not opposed to
solid.
photos,
And same with written content, which we've talked about this, how important it is.
Yeah.
What a video can do now is combine all of these things that already serve a great purpose. The imagery, you get to show someone, you get to see them, you get to hear their voice, you get to make that connection to, this is the voice of this person, their tone, their personality that comes out. Then strategically, as a videographer who cares about what we do, we pick the music to emphasize a tone, emphasize a message, emphasize an emotion, pick the parts of what someone's message is that need to be resonated with, or remove the music, or whatever it is, overlay that with some graphics, overlay that with this, that, and the other, with the core reason to deliver the message correctly. And make sure that whoever's going to be on the other side of that gets it. And that's what I love that we get to do, because, and to say how Brown Fox is set apart is we don't go, you want to make a video, can you give us a brief? We will try and create that brief with you as much as we can. And included in that is things that we can't even explain. I'm trying to figure out ways to document it, how to explain someone's tone, how to explain someone's personality, their quirks, and the things that make them unique. You get that when you understand the way, I guess when you understand how we work, we really take the time to be with that person enough that we can get the message out correctly, if it's a project that is really aligned with how we operate. And that's what I like. I think that's where Brown Fox does things a little bit differently, and I'm proud of that. And I would like to think that most of the videos that we put out would kind of reflect that. Our goal would be that if you watch the video from Brown Fox, you would kind of understand that, like you said, within 30 seconds to a minute, actually get the person who's behind it.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
not saying that other people don't do that.
Yeah,
I just know
100%.
that that's what we care about.
That's yeah,
Personally.
that's at the top, 100%. And one thing I wanted to just quickly mention about just why video, I guess, can be so powerful and useful and helpful. And I kind of briefly touched on this earlier when I was talking about how when I met up with you, I felt like I kind of already knew who you were after watching some of your videos and stuff like that. Like, I think video, you really has the power to, I guess, give someone like a real insight or an idea of who someone is, so that when you do finally meet them for the first time, you kind of already feel like you know them in a sense. Like for me personally, like, you know, we're Christians, so, you know, I'll watch a lot of, I guess, pastors in the States or even here in Australia. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I guess there's a particular pastor in the States that I love watching, and I feel like if I went up and met him now, I feel like I know he has no idea who I am, but I feel like I know him well. And I think that's through the power of video. Just like I'm on the other side of the world, I'm watching videos, you know, constantly, daily.
Again, so that's it. Like, I know we just let this conversation go where it needs to go, but what is life? Life is built of relationships with people. Hopefully a fulfilled life is one that's spent with good relationships with people. How do you interact with people? You sit with them and you talk with them. Or you communicate, but ideally you get to talk with them.
Yeah.
That's the ideal. You get to sit down and talk with them. The closest thing that we have to being able to replicate a conversation when you don't necessarily have the chance to be with a person is via video.
Exactly.
Hence why we do everything now via Zoom, FaceTime, whatnot.
yeah.
It's always been video.
Yeah.
Other than cloning yourself or some Star Wars
you
style.
put out a content piece about that.
Yeah, I did actually, yeah. The the hologram where you can physically be there. But again, it's still a projection of you because you're not physically there. So that's what video is doing.
Yeah.
That's the power of it. That's why we love doing it. But we also care.
Yeah.
We care about the process. We have our own processes that we spend time. We probably spend sometimes a bit too much time. We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But we really love our craft.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's something that we genuinely love doing, but we also just love serving people with it as well. So yeah, that's the probably 15-minute summary.
And hopefully through this podcast, if you've never met us before, hopefully you kind of know a little bit about us, or will get to know a bit about us, so that if you finally do meet us, happy days.
That's it.
Yeah. This has been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to finally get back on the podcast horse
Yeah, for sure.
and give it a crack.
Yeah. Oh, you said horse. I don't know.
I don't know how we got to horse.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add or
I guess stay tuned for the next one.
yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
Could look completely different. You have no idea. We'll
Look, in our and stay tuned. We would love to do, I guess, like an office new space tour. We've just recently moved offices, and so we are now in a different location. So I think I think it would be cool to do like a video on the new space.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do that. And that's funny you mentioned that, because I completely forgot that from the last podcast to this one, this is our second office.
True. So
we already moved out
over
once.
the other. Yeah.
Didn't do any podcasts there
Yeah.
last
You
year.
did a few content pieces there.
Yes, but we
Yeah.
didn't record one
No.
of these because we didn't feel like we were ready for it. And even now, we probably don't feel like we're ready for it. But
keep it down.
all right, you feel like we're ready for it. No, we would like to. We would like to explore this podcast medium to see how
Yeah.
we can help add something positive,
Yep.
some positive messages. I'm trying to think of other words than value,
Yeah.
other positive contributions with our voices,
Yeah. Yeah.
and make sure that people are getting something from it.
So I guess what we're trying to say is, I guess,
Value.
the yeah, true. Round of applause. Yeah, we've already done it. But I think, I mean, future podcasts might still be here, might be in a different rooms. There's a few different rooms around here or
Yeah,
upstairs
yeah.
outside. And you never know.
It'll adapt, and I've got some concepts about how we can get other people on the podcast as well when it's not us,
Yeah.
just us talking. So
Cool.
stay tuned.
Look, I think we'll end it there. But look, I thought we may just end it on one of these again.
Wait, what? You have two?
I did have two. I wasn't planning on this, but I did find another. So I just thought we'd end it on a good note. You know, not that this podcast hasn't been a good note, but Joseph,
Okay.
why are elevator jokes so good?
Why?
They work on many levels.
Just gonna excuse myself.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening, for watching, tuning into the podcast. Joe's just removed you. I think you're still on the edge of the frame. Yeah.
It's all right.
Sorry,
I just had to wash that off.
guys.
I thought it was gonna be something like they lift you up or something.
That could work.
Nah.
Great. Thank you guys so much for watching, for listening, for tuning in. Really appreciate all the support. And look, comment down below if you want us to talk about or discuss anything in particular on the podcast. I think that'd be good for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd love to know, you know, what you guys want
What
to.
topics?
What topics?
Video related.
Video related
Yeah.
or anything. Primarily video
Or about
related.
Matt's lifting routine. Absolutely. We'll be more than happy to share that information with you.
I wish. You mean yours? Hey. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, tuning in. Looking forward to the next podcast, wherever it may be, whenever it may be. We would love to make it weekly, but at a minimum once a month or once a fortnight. We'll see what works for us.
Absolutely. So we'll see you on the next annual Brown Fox podcast.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
You didn't get that?
Oh, I completely missed it. Sorry, I
It's
annual.
It's over. Call it.